Hello there everyone, this is RPG Fan here, and I'm going to be playing some NEO Scavenger. Hope everyone will enjoy. I'm going to start out just playing the base game, not with any mods or anything, mostly just because I feel like it's a good idea to make sure that people get a good basic understanding of the game. I'm going to say a lot. I gotta stop doing that. Remind me of that. Anyone that sees it, just count how many times I do it. Show me a list. Eventually, I'll get embarrassed enough that I'll stop doing it. Hopefully. Anyways, though, NEO Scavenger is by Blue Ball Games. It shows down here in the bottom right. It's a survival game. You come out in a hex-based overworld map eventually. But let's just dive right in, and I'll explain some things as we go. So we're gonna go ahead and start a new game. Alright then, so right here we have the basic character creation at the beginning of the game. Over here you have your status bars. The further to the left these go, the worse off you are. That's pretty much how it goes. Up here you have the traits that you can take on. Each one has different things that'll have a lot of different things you can do during the game. Down here you have your flaws that you can take, which can end up giving you extra slots so that you can pick more traits. One of the things that I'm going to do for this playthrough, hopefully it'll last more than just a few episodes, but I'm going to definitely pick botany because that's just a constant food supply and thirst quencher. You'll see why there, and anytime you get berries that are edible or mushrooms, they quench your thirst as well as sate your hunger, though they only do it a little bit at a time, so you gotta eat a lot of them. And it reminds me a lot of like when I was in Boy Scouts and I was taught survivalism. When you're out in the woods and anywhere else, you gotta make absolutely sure that you can survive, and one of the ways to do that is to eat a lot. Excuse me, 1 second. But yeah, back, and anyways, you want to make sure that you eat little at a time, but very often. So this is going to be a lot of eat as you go. I am also going to take trapping because I tend to freeze to death in the beginning. You'll see why that matters later. I'm going to take strong because I like being able to carry more, and a lot of the times I end up in melee even if I don't want to be, so it's just a good thing to have. Now, for the remaining thing, what I really want to pick is hacking, because I hardly ever get to use it. I want to see what it does, so I'll be learning this part along with you, because I always seem to die really early on whenever I pick hacking, so we'll see how that goes. Now, let's see, I will be taking myopia, because that's one that you can pretty easily get past later on in the game, and it's just a matter of making sure that you pick up enough scavenge so that you can sell it once you get to Detroit, since this game takes place in Michigan. And let's see what to pick for the other trait that I get from that. I could pick melee to make it easier for me to fight that dog thing at the beginning. I can't get eagle eye because I have myopia. Darn it. Okay. In that case, I think I'm just gonna end up making a melee-centric character. So I will take, melee, and that'll end up giving me better damage in melee and all sorts of other help in that. Do I want to take another flaw? They've made the sedative pills a little bit less common, or they seem to be less common last couple times I've tried to play this game. So Insomniac's a little more difficult. Metabolism, I can deal with metabolism since I've got botany. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and take tough. So now I've got a good melee, strong character that won't have to worry about finding fur or food, and I've got the hacking trait just for some neat stuff, hopefully. And we'll see how that goes. So we're going to go ahead and hit confirm and get started. Alright, so you start out in this cryo facility every time. You just came out of Cryopod 05 right there. And this is what you see. You wake up disoriented, slumped over the base of an empty cryosleep pod, still damp from cryo fluid. The thick dust from the floor clings to your skin, leaving a clean spot on the ground where a large 05 is painted. Across the room there is an open door to the hallway and a broken window leading outside. Just as you gather your wits, an unearthly scream erupts from down the hall beyond the doorway. Something is coming. Fast. So, something I know that I can do from previous playthroughs, if I take melee and strong, then this will work out well. If you only have one or the other, you can still do it, but you'll take an injury, which is really bad in the early part of the game. It could cause you to end up getting an infection or bleeding to death very early on. So we're going to do that. Alright, and you see, we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys probably. You drop to a defensive stance as it bursts into the room. The beast stands on its hind legs like a man, but has the appearance of a ragged, predatory dog. The combination of your stance and build must really look imposing, because the dogman actually looks a bit confused when it sees you and hesitates. You both lunge at each other, colliding with great force. The dogman realizes its error too late as you slam it against the door jamb repeatedly. Its corpse crumpled at your feet, you let loose with an unbridled roar that echoes down the facilities hall. You decide that was so awesome that you fish through the console for the security footage of it and take it. Logical to me. Alright, so, now we're still in the cryo facility. You're standing in a cryostasis room, though it looks like you might have been the only survivor. Well, that sucks. So none of these other three guys are going to make it out, maybe. I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and look at the console. If you play this game, make sure you look at the console on your first or second visit to the cryo facility. Don't head to Detroit without looking at it. You need it for later storyline stuff. I confirm. Let's see, we were in Tank 5, so Philip Kindred committed in, well, that's either, well, that's September 15th, 2019. Billing info for Detroit Savings Bank. Now, thankfully, we don't have to remember this. The game remembers that we've seen it for us, so that helps out. And now we'll climb out of the window. You decide to go outside and see if you can figure out where you are. Avoiding the broken glass, you step onto the sill and outside, rustling some plants that have grown wild in the area. It's cool outside and damp. Probably morning. You're in the parking lot of the Geiges cryo facility, but everything looks disused and in disrepair. Plants have pushed their way through the pavement and over the facility. Worst of all, nothing looks familiar. You don't remember this place or even who you are. Your frustration mounts, but you catch it and put it in check. Might as well take a look around. Confirm. And this right here is little mini tutorials that'll pop up from time to time. Well, not really all that often, even mostly just to tell you how to scavenge. So you look anywhere that has a magnifying glass, you can scavenge. If it has a box like up here, if it has a box like down here, that means there are items there you can pick up. Alright, so here we are. Let's take a look at us. So we've got a hospital bracelet with Philip Kindred on her wrist, assuming that might be our name. We have this bronze talisman on a braided leather string. Never take this off unless you're looking to fight a really difficult enemy or die. You know, you can take it off if you want to end your playthrough. But you can put it back on and the enemy will kind of leave you alone for the most part. And hospital gown, so we're almost naked. Now, excuse me, here is our medical screen. We don't have any injuries right now. We are barefoot though, so keep that in mind. Camp screen right now, the only place we know of is right outside, any old spot on the ground that we could camp at. We don't have a vehicle item to haul stuff in. There's the overworld map. Here's the map where we'll be moving around on. This just shows the abilities you have so you can look at them if you want to. And then here is our crafting menu, and we're going to go ahead and use this now. So I'm going to take this dogman corpse. I'm going to take a glass shard, one of these really low power ones, and see, with just that we can get meat from it, or we can get meat and small chunks of fur, which we could use to make something. However, since I have the trapping skill, I'm going to add that, and now we can get the full dogman fur coat, which will help keep us from freezing to death so early on. That's a big problem I tend to have in this game, and I don't want it to happen here. So we got that now. As you can see, there's a magnifying glass here, so we're going to go ahead and scavenge. It gives you another little tutorial about scavenging. Check that out if you want to. Pause the video if you want to read it. I'm going to go ahead and scavenge the cryo facility. You see, loot, high chance of loot, high chance for safety, so nothing's going to collapse on us, and it's a very low chance of us being detected because it sneaks high. So, we don't have any abilities that we can use here right now, so we're just going to hit confirm. All we found was the window we came out of, so we're going to use that. Oh, and there's a new option here now. Back in the cryo chamber, you still feel echoes of the panic that gripped you when you awoke here. It leaves you unsettled feeling. However, that time has passed. Maybe it's time to look around again. So, I'm going to go explore down the hall. And we found an exam room 17. Now, here, if I had the electrician skill, I could use that to make some lights come on in here. If I had the mechanic skill, I could use this to heat the room. But I don't, so all that room is going to be used for me is a place to actually camp out at that's a little bit safer than the surrounding areas. However, a recent update has made it where things can come into the cryo facility and fight you if you're sleeping there, so be careful with that. Anyways, though, without further ado, it's time to go ahead and start exploring. We've got 3 moves left out of 4 since we used some for crafting and scavenging, and so now we're going to go ahead and head out into the world. And my myopia, as you can see, is keeping me from seeing very far. More than likely, that's a forest right there, so I'm actually going to go ahead and jump in there. Alright, we're out of moves, so we'll just hit N-turn or the spacebar as a shortcut. Now I'm going to scavenge here. Well, I don't actually need to scavenge here. All I need to do is, well, we're going to go ahead and leave. Go into the items, right-click on the trees, and hit use, and this will give us a bunch of wood. I'm going to take one of that wood with me now. I'll also take these sticks just in case, and I'm going to head back towards the cryo facility. Actually, I need to find some paper now that I think about it. Okay, well, here's some civilization, so I'm going to go scavenge there. There. Ah, it's locked. I don't have a crowbar yet, and I didn't pick lockpicking, so I can't even get into it. No reason to even bother. Alright, we'll try over here. We're out of moves, so end the turn. Alright, scavenge. Alright, we have an abandoned office tower. This is always a pretty good place and fairly safe to scavenge. If you see something that says it's crumbling or destroyed, you're much more likely for something to fall on you while you're in there and get injured. So the less damage the building looks, the better off you're going to be trying to scavenge it. So I'm going to pick that one and hit confirm. Now, you see the loot's down in that low red-orange area, so there's not going to be much loot to be had, but it's pretty safe to explore, and it's not too likely things will notice me. So, but I have this here where I can scavenge brutishly with the strong trait, so I'm going to try to use that. Now, that brings the loot up some, but the safety went down a little bit, signifying that me, like, pushing stuff around and make it more likely for something to break. And the sneak went down a lot because I'm going to be noisy by just, like, pushing things around all the time. So we're going to go ahead and hit confirm. Didn't find a whole lot. I might be able to use these rags for what I'm thinking, but I don't know yet. We'll see when I get done here. Any of these shards really good? No. Alright. So, still gonna try to find a little more paper before I try to make this spear out of that wood I'm carrying. So, let's go in here and scavenge. Storage sheds are always good loot unless you're close to certain civilized areas, then the loot's always a little low. But yeah, definitely check out storage sheds when you find them. See, the loot's already better than it was in that last place. Use a strong, it goes up even more. Sneak is really low, so more than likely something's going to notice us if there's something nearby, but our safety's still pretty high, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Huh, didn't learn anything, and we found something. Hey, sweet. Got some jeans, put those on, and some shoes. That's actually a really good shoe, 95%. And that's the best left foot shoe at 34%, so we're going to use that. But we did find the paper I was looking for. So, now I'm going to head back to the cryo facility where those glass shards were. Alright. Now, I'm going to take the spear. Actually, hold up. First, I got to take that and turn it into paper shreds. Then I'm going to take those shreds and the branch and this glass shard and finally the melee ability. And now I can make a broad spear with that. Make confirm, and now I've got a decent broad spear. It's not going to last me too long probably, but that's okay. Next thing, I want to try to, well, I'm not too worried about this meat. More than likely I'm just going to let that all spoil on the ground. I am, however, going to take this item and put it in the campsite so it's less likely for something to come by and try to take it. And now that I've got a spear, it's time to go ahead and start exploring a little more. Oh! Okay, so somebody walked into our square, but I don't see them, so I have to search for them. This is bad because I got myopia, so it's harder for me to find them. Ah, but I found them. They have a bow and arrow. Well, they have a crude bow. I don't know if they have any arrows for it or not. In fact, more than likely not, but I don't want to take any chances, so I'm going to duck into cover. They're advancing. I went into cover. Now, this is how the combat works. Each of you picks an action, you hit confirm, and then it shows what action both of you did and the effects of it down here. You can press this arrow key to extend the window, which will help you out in making sure you keep up with the battle. Now, he's still really far away, and he hasn't shot at me, so he may not have arrows, but at the same time, he may just not be in range yet. So I'm going to stay under cover and advance at him. Alright, he's charging. We're going to advance under cover again. He's advancing still. We're going to keep going. Oh, I fell. He also fell. I'm going to get up. I'm going to advance under cover. He's charging, so we're just going to keep moving at each other. Oh, he shot. He missed, though. Good thing. So keep advancing under cover. So he does have at least one arrow. Oh, and he's retreating now. That was probably his only arrow. Yeah, because he's down to his weapon punch now. So now I'm going to chase him down, because I want his shirt. Okay, he's in range now. Ooh, cool. I'm going to use Create Obstacle. It knocks some debris, a log, or other item towards the target. Chance to make them lose a turn, chance to knock them down, and damage the target. It's a pretty good ability. Same thing with the lore if you have that, which I'll show you later if it comes up. So, create an obstacle. Let's see. He needs a moment to recover for acting again, and his right arm was whipped by the trap I set in front of him. He's running away, but he's not running away fast enough. He's vulnerable now. Now, one of the things that you want to make sure you do is whenever you're fighting someone, you want to try to do something to make them vulnerable before you actually attack them. Otherwise, you're more than likely going to miss. This can come from you trying to parry their blow if they're in melee with you. You can dodge them, which will also sometimes make them vulnerable if they miss. You can tackle them, but then that makes you fall on the ground, and there's a chance you might miss them, so be careful with that. Now, since they're vulnerable, I'm going to go ahead and try a melee attack them, just to do a regular, everyday melee attack. Oh, I got him, yeah. Player attacks Bad Mother and hits. Player mauled Bad Mother's lower chest with a broad spear stab. The Bad Mother is coughing up blood. He is stunned and able to move for a moment. So he's stunned, and so I know he won't be able to do anything, so I'm going to try to hit him one more time. Oh! And he is unconscious. He is bleeding, he's unconscious, he's fallen to the ground. As he's attacked for a moment, he's passed out from unbearable pain. What caused that? I stabbed and hit. Tore open his upper left leg with the broad spear, and he passed out. So now I can loot his body, but I'm going to go ahead and kill him just to get him out of the way. Man, that's harsh. But, you know, it's the wasteland. You got to survive. And now he's dead. Of severe traumatic brain injury. I stabbed him in the head. Nice. Alright, so I could take this bow. In fact, I'm going to, and put it on my back. I want this shirt now. Oh, he's got something in his pockets. Aha! An iPhone. Does the iPhone... Well, it's not an iPhone, excuse me. It is a Altus Universe smartphone. Let's see if this battery... The battery does not have any charges. So that kind of sucks, but, you know, whatever. Let's see. We got some pills in a bottle here. Some crackers I could take and eat if I wanted to. I'll take these pills. I'm going to take this can because I can use that to boil water in later. And I guess I'll put the crackers in here too. Let's see. 69%. Oh, that is better than my current boot. So I'm going to take that. And that's pretty much something that you're going to have to do constantly while you're playing this, is slowly upgrade the stuff you have. Now, if I were really desperate for food, I could cannibalize this corpse, but I'm not going to do that because there are some downsides to that we might end up finding out later. For now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just get out of there. I'm going to leave that body. What items did I pick up? Oh, yeah. Painkillers, cracker, smartphone, and a can to boil some water in later, maybe. So, let's go ahead and keep exploring. Alright, now you see I went up on this hill and it took away more moves. Same thing happens when you go into forest. And down here is a stranger. He's a DMC guard. You can always tell them by the way they're dressed up in, like, tactical gear. And they usually don't bother you unless you've started bothering them first. And I'm not going to mess with him, so we're just going to walk away. Darn it, forest right there. Okay, end the turn. Let's go around this forest. I want to get a good heavy exploration going. Man, forests everywhere. And let's not get away too far away from the cryo facility for now. Now let's go in here and let's get in the scavenge menu. Oh, okay, so this is a destroyed office building. It's likely that something might try to hurt me in here, you know, falling debris or something of that sort, but we're still going to go ahead and do it anyway. Safety is okay, so yeah, let's use strong. You see the sneak and the safety goes down, loot goes up a little bit. Let's try it. Oh, lucky us. Found something. Oh, yes. Oh, it's at 4.5%. So you can take the plastic bag and put it in your backpack slot or one of your hands to use. This one's at such a low percentage, though, I'm not even going to bother with it. I will take the string, however, and put it in the can. So let's go find another place to scavenge, because that was not really worth my time. Actually, something else I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of the wood from here after I go put some stuff down. Alright, I'm thirsty and tired. I really need to start scavenging for food. Oh, there's an arrow here. How did that happen? Okay, well, I'll take that. Let's go into the camping screen. Oh, first I want to empty the not quite useful stuff out of my pockets for a moment. We'll keep those painkillers on me. Leave those crackers there. I'm going to actually take the smartphone with me, though normally I wouldn't, because I want to try to go to the DMC area pretty soon. Oh, but I am going to end up spending the night over here, so that's actually not worth it now that I think about it. So let's see. Leave the rest of that there. Yeah, we'll actually just leave this here while I'm still out scavenging. Come on, there we go. Alright, excuse me. So, let's see. Let me take a drink here. I'm going to think for a moment about what I'm going to end up doing here. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get out of here. Actually, let's check my inventory space. I can hold some... Yeah, I can hold some sticks here and put some kindling right there. So, let's go to the woods here. We got 1 point left. I'm going to go ahead and scavenge with botany here. And strong, why not? Let's see how much loot I can find. And I found some berries and mushrooms. Now, the blueberries are almost all... In fact, I think they're always edible. So we're going to go ahead and just snack on these. Now, these red berries are edible. The yellow and white berries are almost... In fact, I think they are always poisonous. The red berries sometimes are poisonous, sometimes are not. These are edible, so we're going to go ahead and eat them. Now, these mushrooms are edible, which is good, because very often the mushrooms are poisonous. And you definitely don't ever want to eat any of the poisonous berries or mushrooms. It's just not good for you, obviously. That's the end of that turn. I can, however, go to this and hit use, and go ahead and get these sticks into my hand, and these twigs in my pocket. And I'll take those back to the cryo facility next turn, after I deal with this fight here. Alright, so, let's look for the person. Can't find him. Let's look for him again. They ran off. I want his stuff. You know what? I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him go. I'm going to go to the cryo facility. And, oh, someone left some stuff here. I doubt they did it on purpose for me. But hey, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Now, let's take these sticks and these twigs and set them down. And we'll go to the... Oh, wait, we're out of turns, so we're just going to end the turn now. Then we're going to go to the crafting menu, and we're going to take this tree branch and this kindling and our trapping skill to make a small fire. Then we're going to take that small fire and some branches, and we're going to stoke it up to a medium fire. Now we're going to take this medium fire. You can see this can be a complicated or tedious process sometimes, so be careful with it. What was I going to do with this fire? I was going to cook some of this meat. Cooking meat will help preserve it for a little bit of time, but honestly not very long. But still, it's better than just having, you know, raw meat sitting around my camp, I'm sure. And so we're going to go ahead and just try to cook as much of this as we can. Oh, whoops. Oh well, that's okay. Didn't matter that I did that, really. Alright, I'm going to take these ashes and put them in the campsite because those can be useful later. I'm also going to take this little small fire and do that. And finally, I'm going to take one of these torches and I'm going to light it in this fire. And I'm going to take that and put it in this hand. I'm going to eat one of these big slabs of meat and some of these little ones, because they help to quench your thirst as well as your hunger. And there we go, so that's good. And now I gotta find a little bit more stuff before nightfall, so we're gonna keep exploring. Oh, well, it's nightfall now. Great. However, since I got that torch, I can move further than I normally would be able to. Not much out here, though. And torch fell apart, so it's done. So I guess I'll head back and try to get some sleep. Oh, Do I want to scavenge here right now? Oh, it's that locked storage shed again. Darn it. Never mind. And it's daytime. Great. I'm going to try to sleep anyway, because I'm really tired. And I think, actually, I'm going to go ahead and call this episode here for now. So, I hope you're all enjoying and you're learning some about the game. If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to put those down in the comments. You know, if you enjoyed the video, do feel free, if you like, to, you know, leave me a like or anything of that sort. Always appreciated, always helps out. But until then, I will see you guys later.